Can you detach yourself from painful emotions? Some say it's completely impossible, but there's new neuroscientific evidence that says this is absolutely possible. And today, I'll be revealing exactly how. Hi, this is Adewale Ademiwa from StressTherapist.net, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 2 of the Take Back Control snippets. If you are an employee, a student, a father, or a mother, and your emotions, your depression, your anxiety, or high stress levels keeps trashing your efforts to move forward in your job and enjoy your relationships. This show will give you the keys to unlock your life and take back the territory those emotions have stolen from you. So, do you avoid thinking about your past? Perhaps because when those bad memories come out, you're left hanging, feeling raw and sad, and then there's nowhere to go with it. Or perhaps you had to deal with so much whilst growing up, and blocking was the only way to cope and avoid going insane. Or perhaps your family taught you that showing your emotions is wrong, so you never had a chance to talk about things. And so by default, you naturally push your memories away or block. Well, here's a question. Is it detrimental, or does blocking really help make things feel easier to cope with? You see, the dilemma here is that whilst on one hand, blocking can help you gain distance from the pain of the past, on the other hand, blocking tends to create a lot of physical health problems. So we have evidence that it causes things like diabetes, things like arthritis, even things like cancer. But even more dramatic is the way memory blocking can destroy your chances of a full life by breaking down your relationships and destroying your social skills. So, for example, let's assume that you have a painful memory of being blamed all the time whilst growing up. Um, you were made to feel like everything was your fault. Your parents will be tired, they blame you for it. Your your siblings were not eating, they blame you for it. So literally anything happens, it's your fault. So if now, whenever these memories of being blamed creep up, your natural reaction is to just push them away, you begin to find that the issues, the emotions, the sensations surrounding these memories will begin to permeate into your friendships and into the relationships you're trying to form. As a result, if someone around you is in a bad mood or angry, you will immediately assume that it's your fault. And then you will either isolate, break up, start fighting, or get angry, or apologize for everything, even though you know you don't need to. However, this is only happening because you've been blocking away your memories over and over. It has trained you to take things personally, and sadly, this has robbed you of the opportunity to learn to see things objectively, which then makes it impossible to know when something is your fault or not. I'm hoping this makes sense. But then here's another question. If memory blocking can be this detrimental, and yet engaging in those painful memories can actually break you down and stop you functioning, what are you supposed to do? The solution lies in how you manage your emotional memories. You see, we now know that through neuroscience, we now know that there are two types of memories: the functional memory and the emotional memory. So, an example of a functional memory would be the memory that helps you know how to use a fork while sitting on the table, what hand you hold the fork on. Whereas the emotional memory is tied with an emotion. So, if you had an experience of being bitten by a snake, your emotional memory will be associated with that. So, the emotional memory comes with pain, comes with the stress of the experience you had. Now, so one of the things that neuroscience has now showed us is that your brain has the ability to forget emotional memories. So whilst it may not forget the event itself, it can forget the pain lying within the memory. What this means for you is that using the right processes, you can forget all the pain from your past. A team of researchers led by Dr. Joseph Ledoux from the Center of Neural Science in New York University did a research where they took a rat. So they took a rat that they had conditioned to associate a sound with a pain. Then they retriggered the emotional centers of the rat over and over again until it stopped associating that sound with the pain. But how can we use this experiment to inform our practice in real life? If you can retrigger your emotional pathways over and over, you too can break the connection between those past memories and the pain it creates for you. But then this raises another dilemma because retriggering your emotional senses over and over is no small feat, especially if your past memories often make you feel like you're literally dying. So it's essential to do something that can enable you to manage the pain as you follow the process. I like to suggest strategies that can help you feel soothed, safe, and warm. Those tend to be powerful techniques to help cope with the pain of trauma as you are processing. There's a strategy I call the Bonjela technique. If you Google Bonjela technique, it will take you to a page where I walked someone through on a video through the process in a way that can help you know how to apply it yourself. So I suggest go take a look at that video and use that as a starting point. Because as you are processing, you will need to be able to do something to bring yourself into a place of peace and calm. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you will be on edge. You'll be feeling raw for days and days and days, and it will literally make this process impossible to achieve. Then the next step will be to engage in a strategy I call the bulletin technique, where the idea would be to write your experiences, the memories in write it out in bullet points. Why bullet points? You don't want to go into too much detail at the beginning, because if you over detail the your writing process, you will get overwhelmed. But when you just bullet in short phrases each part of the experience, this allows you to still experience the memory enough for the brain to process. And then when you get down the line, when the pain of the memory is less, you can then put out the detail. And then the final step is to remember to do everything I've talked about so far in baby steps. You see, as you're listening to me, you may be thinking, gosh, can I even do this? Would I get it right if I tried? Or would it make things worse for me? You see, I can't tell you the number of people that I've worked with who, because of the abuse they endured, were so scared of life and were so scared of people that just hearing a small knock on the door would cause them to feel so threatened that they'd had to hide under the bed because of the pain and the dread it caused. But then, when these people, using baby steps to do all the strategies we've talked about today, they got to the point where they felt empowered to walk out of the house. They felt empowered to walk into crowds of people. They felt empowered to talk to people. It became clear they had succeeded at breaking away from the pain of their memories. And so, in the same way, if you follow these strategies I've shared with you today, you too can gain the freedom from the pain your memories cause you. I really, really wish for you that you can use these strategies and experience the fullness of life that comes from breaking free from pain and distress.